For 2 years, we lived on the road in our camper van with our 2 kitties, traveling through the United States and Canada to some of the most magical places. Four months ago, our life on the road came to an abrupt end. Our van blew a spark plug for the 3rd time in 2 weeks.
But I'm wondering if you guys have any assistance that can come out.
We knew it was time to stop, but in return, we lost our home. We were pretty unsure of what the next option would be for us. At the time, we couldn't afford another van or to get our current van repaired any longer, but we were lucky enough to have our van repaired to last through the long ride back to our home state. We came up with so many plans of what to do during this ride, and ultimately stumbled on one that we knew could work. We decided to renovate my childhood playhouse into a tiny house. The house is located on my family's property and is a really nice size regardless of it being a playhouse. It is 96 square feet with a height of about 8 to 9 feet, making it comfortable to move around as adults. And although we have to duck for the front door, we don't for the back door. First thing on the list, to clean the house out. The house has been around for about 30 years. It has held up very well. I remember having so many tea parties here, and it was even going to be part of our backyard wedding 2 years ago. Our goal with the tiny house renovations is to create a homey space using mostly recycled materials. We want to have a stable home we can return to once we finally get back to traveling. For those wondering how we funded the house build, we both got part-time jobs in our home city, and we are also lucky enough to make some income from YouTube and Patreon. The house had wiring for electricity to be hooked up, but my family never got around to finishing it. And since it is way out of our budget to hire an electrician to hook it up, we are going to live in the tiny house the way we lived in the van, by using a portable battery that can be charged up with solar energy. We did not cut the wires in case we decide to use them in the future. We just took out the electrical boxes. It was finally time to start putting some pieces together in the house. We started with insulating the ceiling, This was our first time, and I'll be the first to say that we did miss the step putting a vapor barrier on top of the insulation. The house does get a lot of ventilation already, so we think it will be okay, but we could always go back and fix it. While Santi went away for the weekend, I stayed behind and got started on sanding the beams of the walls. We chose not to insulate the walls. The house is already pretty small and we want to utilize as much space as possible. That way we can create shelving spaces within the parts of the walls that would be insulated. We understand not many people will agree with this decision, but the temperature inside the house does not change much through the seasons. Our original plan was to sand the paint off all the walls and have exposed wood, but we discovered that the inner walls are drywall, so we will paint that part instead. That looks good. I think that looks. Yep. We chose a vinyl sheet flooring because it worked well for us in the van and it's budget friendly. After finishing the base of the house to build around, we needed a break. Spring had just arrived and we were longing to start some gardening. This is my first time doing any gardening work and I'm so enjoying learning about the process. We also decided to plant some trees to give us more privacy. The ground has been uneven for years due to the groundhogs nesting under the house. If you have any tips on how to deter groundhogs safely, it would be very much appreciated. Before we started building the furniture, Santi created a 3D model of how we wanted the interior to look. Our main focus was to have as much storage space as possible, along with finally being able to have a sink and a closet, two things we did not have in our van. The weather was finally starting to get warmer, which made building a lot easier for the two of us. We tackled the kitchen and closet area first. We received a lot of questions about why we didn't use a bigger refrigerator, and it's because we didn't have one, nor could we afford one. The one we have worked well in the van for 2 years, so we're not worried. And besides, we can always add one if we want. It's the beauty of building your own house. Around this point, we unfortunately ran into some issues with the frame. The pull-out litter box we created did not sit flush with the frame, which in turn caused us to take everything apart and redo it. Although tedious, it's best that the frame is done correctly, since it holds everything together. The next step was to start making drawers. We came up with a concept to have our Coleman stove pull out to create extra kitchen space. This means I can hide it whenever I'm not cooking, and I can still have the whole counter to make the meals. We purchased a longer connection for the stove to make it easier to sit in the drawer space. The chaos tucked away safely. It was time to start putting together our first sink, using a very simple system which involves a clean and gray water tank and a foot pump to activate the water flow. This was Santi's first time putting a sink together, and YouTube Academy was perfect for quick learning. This is our cat, Mr. Pickles. He will be joining us for the duration of the project. Moving on to the next project being the fridge. Our plan was to create a fridge that tucked away in a drawer and can slide out when needed, similar to our stove concept. We finally got the kitchen and closet area to a good place, so we decided we wanted to move on to something else, making a built-in custom sofa. Some family of ours came to visit and help with the build for the day. It was really nice to have this help, even if it was only temporary. The closet is definitely a design we took a chance on, making it wrap around the height of the house. It was ambitious figuring it out and how to keep it nice and sturdy, but it holds up very well. We needed to cut a hole out in the litter box for our cats. They have been tagging along with the build, and we want to ensure they adjust and are comfortable with everything prior to us moving in. We started drawing up plans for our last large piece of furniture, the desk. We wanted the desk to act as both a workspace and a dining area for our daily meals. It is crucial for tiny house builds to be multifunctional. At this point, a lot of our building alternated between different parts of the house. We found ourselves making shelves, finishing the kitchen and closet, and building the desk simultaneously. This is Lady Sasha. She will now be joining the building process. One of the best feelings was finally having covers on all the cabinets and drawers, making everything look more cohesive. By this time, the building was finally starting to come to a close, but we were exhausted and in dire need of some fresher air, and the trails by our house are the perfect getaway. Since our counter consisted of many different pieces of scrap wood, we tried a method of combining sawdust and wood glue to close the gaps. Now the not so fun part, sanding every single cover of the drawers. Our rose bush really thrived this year. Some may argue that it overthrived, so we needed to trim it up a bit, but I quite like the chaotic look. was also time for the plants I started a couple months prior to come outside. I will admit, many of them did not do well, but I'm proud of the ones I did accomplish. These consisted of peppers, parsley, basil, and the one that grew the best, green beans. My favorite part, which is finally getting the furniture to look like the final product by adding stain and polyurethane. So, the counter didn't look awful, but it didn't look great either. We decided to add another thin piece on top so that it looks better. It also adds more stability. Towards the end of the build, this sweet kitten showed up on our back porch of the main house, hungry and looking for attention. We took her to the vet and found out her name is Dax. The vet tried calling the owners and we even emailed them, but no response. So we fostered her for a week until we were able to find her the perfect home with one of my close friends. It was so nice having her curiosity around. Our last week of building consisted of putting together the final pieces to our house. It's been such a surreal feeling seeing all that we built together. Using a fallen branch from the property, we made a natural wood wardrobe rod. By the last week, we were applying all the finishing touches, which is such a rewarding moment. Attributes like adding a bookshelf, a ladder, and a railing for the bed were finally being done. After 4 months of work, here is everything we built. I know many of you were hoping for the reveal to have it fully decorated. However, we have been taking our time with picking and combining secondhand pieces with things we already own very carefully, which makes the process a bit longer. But we have been filming a moving vlog and will do a fully decorated tour very soon, so please stay tuned. To answer more questions that were asked over the months of us building, yes, we will be living here full time. Yes, we have a bathroom that we will commute to located in the main house. Yes, the bed is big enough. We have been sleeping here already and love it. It's super comfortable, and we can't wait to share what it looks like with the mattress. We appreciated every single one of your suggestions to extend the house, screen off the porch, and even extend the roof, but we were on a tight budget and planned to move in soon. We just wanted to add furniture and make it cozy inside, as little me always wanted. But we'll definitely take that advice if we ever move into a slightly larger home. This is a catio we built a little after finishing the house. We'll show the process in our gardening series. We understand that many people will think we're crazy to live in a playhouse turned tiny house. Some even say we're delulu and doubt it will work. But we built it for us, it works for us, and that's what matters. We can't wait to share more with you all.